Okay, so we're going to move forward. Let's go with, so we're going to spend a public meeting for a moment and go into the public hearing. Is it a motion for us to go into public hearing?
I'll make that motion to go into a public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any opposition? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We are now in the public meeting. It is, at this time, 7:40. p.m. And there's a separate agenda for those that are looking for the meeting. This is in relationship to Ordinance 1, 2019, amendments to the visitor parking. And as introduced, when did we introduce this? This was introduced. No, not on this newspaper. I believe it was September 12th. We had noted the changes in the ordinance is that two items, which are in fact that permit holders will not be able to park in the non-permit areas until 10 p.m. So in other words, at 5 p.m., non-permit holders can only park in non-permit areas, but permit holders have been parking in non-permit areas, and therefore limiting the amount of parking for visitors who come into town. Mm-hmm. So being that in our conversation, we would not want a permit holder to come home at 10 o'clock at night and there's a parking space available that says non-permit and they can't park there.
Right.
But if they come home at 7 o'clock at night, they should park in a permitted area and not the non-permit to remain open for the non-permit holders. So this was one of the issues that we had heard about the most, where people were saying that permit holders were parking in non-permit areas, and therefore their visitors couldn't park. Oftentimes they'll park in a non-permit area and leave their driveway vacant, so that when their visitor came, they could park in the driveway and didn't have to worry about losing the non-permit area. So this is a compromise, 10 o'clock, so that those who come home late at night can park wherever they need to park with a permit, but not before then, to allow for the intention of the parking area to remain the same. So that was one item changed in this ordinance. And the second item was about the fact that we still have non-permit holders who are not visitors to the town parking in the non-permit areas. This is primarily a problem on Newark Road. So what this ordinance does, it allows us to discriminately require visitor permits in different places. So if you're a non-permit holder, you would need a visitor permit to park in certain areas. We would propose to start a pilot of that on Newark Road, so that most of Newark Road will require a visitor permit, because most of the Newark Road on the side of the commercial area, all of it is non-permit holders allowed. And we are definitely finding that we have people who are parking there that they either just took an Uber to DC or something. So they park here, take their Uber down to DC, it's close enough, come back here, get their car and go. And that could be pretty much like on a weekend and Friday nights and so forth like that. So the goal of the parking permit was to make sure that the only people who are in our town are the people who live here or visiting someone who lives here, unless they're shopping in the shopping corridor. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with these two amendments to this ordinance at this time. And we're open to have any comments if anyone wants to say about this or any other things that you think parking needs conversation. State your name and the 100 block of the street you live on.
I'm Julianne Bethea, I'm 4206 Monroe Street in Colmar Manor. My concern is this on Newark. If you're going to do that, I would propose or suggest maybe doing a pilot program for a year on Newark. And the reason for that, you want to catch what impact it's going to spill over on the other streets, because if they find out they can't park on Newark, all they're going to do is circle around, see which block that's fairly empty, and then park. Not only with that, also because seasonally, you're going to see a change in people's habits. So what you may see in the winter months may become more of a problem in the summer months. So my feeling would be, before you make a permanent change, is to pilot for a year, 6 months, a year, definitely 12 months, because you will capture all that information as to who's coming in, the season they're coming in, is it heavier here or there. I used to, I was a dog walker, and I know on Newark, early in the morning, people pull in, park, walk straight to Fort Lincoln Medical Clinic, and leave, and come right back about 4:30, 5 o'clock, get in their car and go. So I think a pilot program would be more in tune before you make a permanent change.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So what the ordinance does, it allows us to be discriminate about where the visitor parking is. It just allows us to require it, so we can, so that the ordinance isn't making it permanent. We can not do it or do it. So we'll be able to do the pilot as you suggested with this ordinance. And probably, I'll discuss it further with the council as to where we will want to do it, but Newark Road is the first discussed, and then probably by the Newton Street Park. The only concern I have about the Newton Street Park is the summertime, where people are coming to the park who have a right to come to the park, and they might not be a visitor after 5 o'clock, and it doesn't get dark until 5. So, we got to talk about all of those issues when it comes to where is the best places to do it. And see how it rounds up. Maybe we don't do all of Newark Road, so we can see if people all consolidate in one area, and start to feather out what's happening.
Well, I was going to say, you'll see a change in behavior, because it will have a change in people will be out, and you'll see more cars as opposed to less cars.
Yes.
Just about. All right, thank you for that. Anybody have any other comments?
I'm Doug Bowles, I live on 41st Avenue here in Colmar Manor. I just had a question about clarifying the visitor structure. How does that mechanism work? So it looks like it's 24 hours is $1, 7 days is $10. Am I reading that correct in the second section?
No, there should be no money in here. What, am I missing something?
Issuance of visitor permits, section 10-125, visitor parking permits subject to such limitations, blah, blah, blah. Fee of $10 per permit for a period not to exceed 7 calendar days. $1 for 24 hours.
It's right here.
Page 3.
Yes, that needs to come out.
That doesn't belong there.
That doesn't.
Oh, it's a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you're just having a couple friends over for dinner, if you have to pay $1 for them to park near your house, that's...
No, I mean,
Like, do I have to pay just to have a
I don't normally miss stuff like that, but I'm glad you're here to catch it. But I would have read it more thoroughly again before we actually vote on it. That will come out. The intention is there will be no cost for a visitor parking permit, and you can have as many as you want.
So each home we'll have to come here to get them. We
Yeah.
won't be issued like a 2 per household or something
No,
like that.
you
Okay.
have however many you want, because you're already limited by the fact that there's these non-permit areas, and there's a
Right.
limited number of those. So the parking permit itself is only in the areas where we mark visitor permit parking only.
But does that apply to a situation such as I've just mentioned, where you're having 3 people coming over for dinner and they park on Newark, they each have to have a
If they were
visitor's
parked on
permit.
Newark, they would all have to have, I mean, if we designate, because we might not designate all of
Yeah.
Newark, but the areas of Newark where we designated it for visitor parking, they would all have to have one.
I would propose you all could just discuss and consider the possibility of like each household having one or two of them, just so that we don't have to make a trip down to town hall just to have a friend come over for dinner, you know what I mean?
I think that what we'll do is, we'll open it up to you, you can come and get as many as you want, and
And just hold on to them?
just hold on to them.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
right. And then we might change colors in a couple of years or something like that, but yes, you get them, you hold on to them.
Gotcha, otherwise that's pretty complicated.
Get them back from your friends. No, but the pay is not there, no pay.
The reason why I wanted to say this, I wanted to dovetail on that because in some jurisdictions, you can get a visitor's permit and it's good for a year, so the household has it. So you don't have to come up to the building to get it. And to dovetail on what you said, maybe 3 per household issued, have a color code, it's good for 1 year, not from the time of issuance, but a calendar year, and then that way you don't have to keep running
Run
back and forth.
Right, yeah, we don't want people to have
That's
to
the
point
point.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you for those comments, that is very, very valuable. Mr. Barr, we're in agreement over here, I believe. Any unconsensus about removing the amounts from any of the council?
Oh, yeah.
Any objection?
Oh, yes, to remove the amount.
Yeah, to take it out.
Right, there's no objection to taking it out.
Right.
All right, anybody have any additional comments? Okay, well, the mayor and council will take under advisements the comments that we have heard, discuss at our next work session in January, what we'll change and adopt, other than those things that we've already indicated for Mr. Barr to remove and change, and then bring back in January town meeting, second Tuesday of the month, for our adoption of the
Mayor, can I say
ordinance.
something?
Yes.
Can I say something? At first, when this ordinance came to me about the visitors parking on Newark Road, I wasn't there. I was at the work session, so I was kind of against it. But talking to the mayor and council and also talking to some residents on Newark Road, just want to let you, we hear you, and that's what we're here for, to work with you. We know that this parking permit it hasn't even been a year. That was my only suggestion. Can we kink out all the problems? But apparently, we do have a lot of people that park on Newark Road that does not live in the area or work in the area. They get on the bus with me. So just want to let residents know that we do hear you. If you do have any concerns, talk to us, because we do hear you, and the mayor always responds back. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead, you have something? Oh, okay, well, with that said, we can accept a motion to adjourn the public hearing and resume our general meeting. I'll make that motion as stated. Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. So we are now back into our general session, and we'll return to the agenda, starting at number 4, report on the work session. So I'll report out on our work session. We had on our work session, added to the work session at the meeting was a free rental policy, sex harassment classes, and a sign on 4100 block of Lawrence Street. In the session, we talked about our copy of purchase. We had budgeted to make a copy of purchase for the administrative office, and also the police office needed a copier as well. So we've been investigating, going through the whole process of trying to get a copier and so forth. And so we were able to make a decision. We budgeted to lease a copier in administrative office, and therefore we continued under that path and voted to lease the copier within the budgeted amount that we have budgeted. We made a decision to make a purchase of the copier in the police department area because there's been some we have some funding available in that department to make a straight-out purchase. Moving forward, we discussed our Breeze donation. From Breeze, they collected about $1,300 for our holiday season, and we agreed to get some gift cards from Shoppers, gift cards from CVS. A part of the funds will go towards our Christmas party and our holiday party, senior holiday party, and our homeless Christmas dinner here at the town
25th.
hall. So if somebody really needs some assistance, I mean, the council try to know who they might need it, but you might know somebody watching might know somebody who needs some help. Please let us know. Whenever we get things to help people, that's what we're here to do, is to help. So we'd love to have you do that. And so also, in talking of the Christmas party, we weren't sure we were going to be able to do it because normally Warm Hands, Left Heart, Right Hand for Left Heart has been doing it for the last 4 years, and their leadership is out of the country for work and won't be able to do it. But there's been so many people who said they're willing to help in providing food for the event, and so I'm feeling good that we can make it happen. What I still could use is a couple of volunteers, even if you can only give us a couple of hours. We're serving the meals from 12 to 5, and so if you come in a little bit early to help us with setup, or you can come in for service to help us do that, or later. I'm also hoping that we also will be able to get some more survival tools for our homeless population. And if you have anything that you would like to donate that's useful for outdoor living, we're accepting any donations.
Thermals, blankets.
Thermals, blankets,
Coats.
socks, and socks. Socks is a really big thing. Toothbrushes and toothpaste and things like that. So I'm asking anybody to donate towards that. It's an awesome thing to be able to give at that point. So in the meeting, we talked about the police chief. In addition to Captain Gomez, steps that we wanted to take going forward, what options that we had on the table, and also that's the actual time when we authorized, which this resolution states on that date of December 3rd, for her to start taking on the authority of our officer and department. We talked about a noise ordinance. Mr. Barr was able to provide us several ordinances from several different communities, and we will be reviewing them, highlighting what we like and crossing off what we don't like, and then come back together and convene in January, look at how our exercises merge together, and we also have a resident that's working on this with us, and then we will start to mold a noise ordinance for us. We'll go through the same process as we go through with the parking permit, where once we've got down what we want, then we'll bring it to you, introduce it, let everybody mull over it, make recommendations, changes, have a public hearing, and then make the final grouping. So, it takes a while to do a real ordinance. It's going to take like 5 months in order to get through it, but I think it's worth it, so that hopefully by the summertime, when it's really the story, we'll know what we're doing. And
Everything be in
prepared
place.
Everything
may be in place.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Chief Miltenberger actually purchased what is the sound thing called?
Blessing blocks. Blessing blocks.
Yeah. So we actually had that to actually, just start monitoring things to see what it's like out there when somebody complains, and getting a better idea of what the numbers really are. So we talked about our administrative vacancy. We will be converting this part-time vacancy into a full-time vacancy, and at least for this fiscal year. And we have a couple of applicants that have already applied. Mr. Baton has interviewed, and I will be doing some follow-up in the next couple of days on that position. The council retreat follow-up, we paused, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we paused it. This was going to be a follow-up from the retreat that we had, which was our exercises that we do on building a mission and strategies and things like that on how we're moving the community forward. We, okay. Okay, NLC service warranty. So this is a warranty. National League of Cities has, pulled together. Now the Maryland Municipal League is grouped with them, and this has to do with the warranty for your pipes from where they leave your house to where they get to the actual water meter on the curb, the street. So that area is your responsibility up to your curb. And so you've probably gotten things in the mail, quite a bit of them, saying, hey, from WSSC in particular, saying, hey, we're telling you, we're not responsible for that. But they have created a group service warranty. I would say stay tuned. I'll try to get something in the newsletter soon that says what needs to be done. We need to join it as the town, and then they're discounted because of the fact that if you get the larger the group, the less it costs for you to have your warranty under this group. So we have a lot more to find, but I had to find out from the council members whether I should be pursuing it, so that's what we did, the work session, to say, let's find out what we can get from it. And then we also talked about the Fort Lincoln Medical Resolution, which I just read. I mean, actually, this should have said proclamation, not resolution, that I just read about. Then we talked about free rental policy. So free rental is like when we had an auction for the homeless, and we had a couple of free rentals, and there's times like when we might have a DJ that plays for us for free, and we give them a free rental, and in certain circumstances like that where there's a quid pro quo. And the free rental needs some tightening of the policy so that someone with a free rental has a clear understanding of the other items and things that are still going to be their responsibility, even when the rental of the hall is free. We did agree to work it out and finding some sex harassment classes so that we can have sex harassment classes periodically on a regular basis. And we had a resident that had a sign smack in the center of her wonderful front window and really didn't want that sign as she sat in her living room, and we removed it. So that was the work session. Any additional items that I didn't bring up? Okay, so moving on for the mayor's report. I'm not going to say much here. One of the things that you guys may have noticed I've been working really hard on is really trying to get us out our e-news on a regular basis. And it's a good, the bad, and the evil. It keeps punching me back in the face every time, because there's different platforms receives it differently. And so some people were like, oh, great, it was okay, whatever. And then someone else is like, well, it came in all jumble. So working through the details, we're going to keep moving forward and getting it out. It's not even just that we want to say, oh, wow, we're doing all this in Colmar Manor. We get so much stuff about what's going on in the community that can be so much of a value to the individuals in the community. And it may not be here. It's just like the estate planning that Brentwood had last weekend. There's times when our council members, he canceled it, but Councilmember Hawkins, who is an at-large council member, so he's all our council members, he was having a listening session tomorrow, on day after tomorrow, but that's been canceled for now, just to let you guys know that, because that was in the newsletter. But all of the things, the county executive is having a council member listening session on the 17th of this month at Crossland High School. And so there's so many things that can be useful to you in the moment, and we get this stuff all the time, and that's a part of what we're supposed to be doing, is communicating. We're your liaison. We are your information source. And so I feel really strongly about doing that. I put a whole lot of hours and work into it this last month, and we're going to continue to do that. And I will also say, I am so happy our school, if you don't know it, we have a school here, the Royalty Institute, which is a high school for men. And they just got a wonderful opportunity on Friday. The county executive has the 12 days of giving. And so Friday was a gift for her, and that they were here. And they had breakfast, and they got taught how to tie their ties, and some other type of etiquette things. Most people don't understand that. A lot of young people just don't get that kind of a support system. So we're really happy to have some of the county folks here, and also Jacob's Ladder, which I just learned today, is really doing huge support for this particular group. Channel 4 News was here, and you can see Colmar Manor in the background. They called it Colmar Manor. They didn't call it Brentwood.
Great.
It was great to see.
Yes. And so it was exciting to bring some attention to the town as well. So I'm going to leave my mayor's report at that unless I remember something else. Ward 1.
Oh, good evening. Just want to say happy holidays, everyone. And the town looks beautiful with the Christmas decoration. 41st kind of did it. It looks beautiful. Thank you. Also, don't forget the house judging will be on Tuesday, December the 17th. And they'll choose 4 homes in the town, and each one of them will receive $25 cash. I got a lot of thank yous from the town, to the town, from citizens for the Thanksgiving blessings that was given, and I want to say a special thank you to Breeze and the delegates also. The little library on Newark Road, I keep refilling it with books, and I'm glad people are stopping and taking the books, but can you try to bring a book back?
Bring a book.
That's really good.
Right?
Yeah, I'm happy to hear people
Right.
say it.
Yes, they're taking books. Be safe with your holiday decorations, your heaters and the cords and stuff like that. The town will also be feeding, the mayor spoke about that already, anyone on the 25th from noon to 6 o'clock. And if you wish to donate anything, she spoke about that also, please feel free to drop it off. Check on your neighbors and give someone a hug, and have a happy and a safe holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ward 2.
In my ward, we still have a certain person house that keep putting out trash for the whole weekend, and it's still out there. It's been sitting out there like 3 weeks. And I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, just in case I don't see y'all again. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Ward 3.
Yes, good evening. So before I give my ward report, I just want everybody to say happy birthday to Councilmember Blue. Her birthday is tomorrow. She'll be 25. I'm not sure what happened, Ms. Blue. I did request for a chocolate cake that we were going to share, but I just want to say happy birthday to
Thank
you.
you.
And it's a blessing that's been serving with you this time.
The
So everybody
cake-
knows it's my last term. Woo-hoo!
The cake is there. The cake is there.
I looked in the kitchen. I didn't see the chocolate cake.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh,
Chocolate.
wow.
I was wondering, I was like, why is there birthday cake here? And I forgot to ask somebody, why is the birthday cake here?
Oh, good. So with my ward report, this is basically a community report. I guess you all know that Shoppers Food is leaving us, and they're leaving in January. They will be closed. I, myself, and my family, we freaking Shoppers a lot. So within that time, if you all could just go say some kind words or anything to the employees, because they're a little down, especially the ones that's been here for a long time. We have no input on that, but we do request that they keep, when the new food store come, if they could hire the same employees, because some of them been here for a long time, and just so if you can just keep in mind, just go say hello. If you can give them a card, that would be great too. Just saying you appreciate your service. Just wanted to let you know, in March, you will get in your mail the 2020 census. Like I said, this is for the whole ward. We really, really have to have all our residents counted for, so we can bring back some money to Prince George's County. I'll be out there knocking on doors. trying to make sure people count. And it's my understanding, it's only 10 questions, 10 easy questions. And it'll be rolling out in March, and I think it's due like in April, if I'm not mistaken. Also, once again, I want to say thank you again, our new chief. We're so excited about that. I also want to have a shout out to my residents in Ward 3. Some of them emailed me, some of them stopping at the bus stop to let me know what's going on. I really appreciate that, because we would not know some of the things, because we can't be everywhere. We're humans. We have a life. We have kids. Some of us work. So just for you being that this lets me know that, one, you care about the community. Two, you trust in me that I'll be able to handle your request. If I can't, I'll pass it on to the mayor and the chief. But if you have any concerns with my short time here, please just let me know. I prefer you talking to the mayor and council first before going outside. Thank you.
Thank you. Ward 4.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm going to piggyback on Councilmember Bowden about the trash. We actually had an incident before Thanksgiving where we're not sure if the trash was just dumped furniture on Newark, or if somebody put it out early, but it's an eyesore. Exactly, it's an eyesore. So if working as a whole with the town, if you see something like that that's put out early, just call the town hall or call one of us so that we can get it. At that time, that was before Thanksgiving, and we knew that it was just gonna sit there
all weekend.
Yeah.
So it was an eyesore. So definitely, if we can work together on that, and of course, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I know we're not going to see each other till next year. So Happy New Year to all.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, thank you all very much. I do want to reiterate, I spoke to the shopping center owners. Of course, they also don't have a say in who the employees will be, but he is going to try to get us a contact as soon as possible, so at least we can lobby for those employees. Because what's important is, as the new owners come in, if they know they're coming into a community, they're not just buying a store. And so we want them to know, hey, come here first, talk to us, find out the lay of the land and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully we'll get that opportunity to work with them. I do know sort of that when they start, there's going to be like 30 days remodeling when they'll close the store, is what I heard. Now, a lot of times stores try to close a half of the store while they work on it and never close the store. So I don't know, maybe they can try that.
This is a new store coming to the area. They want to.
They want to do the whole shebang, but and do the whole grand opening. Well, I don't know if I'd want to give away a whole month's worth of revenues, but when they did the Aldi's up there, it was actually amazing. It still looked amazing when it actually was changed, but they kind of cordoned off a lot of it. And then they
still could go in.
You can still go in and shop and whatever. And then they did what they did. And then when they unveiled and they moved around the other side, I mean, it could be done. But I like to be able to get to communicate with them sooner than later so that we can start building a relationship. We'll see what we can do. And do still want to reiterate about the census again. We can't say it too much. A lot of people just don't realize some 38 billion or some dollars they got left on the table, some ridiculous number.
Wasn't counted for.
In Prince George's County.
In Prince George's County alone, we lost lots. And in particular, everybody needs to know, if you're here, even whether you're documented or partially documented, you're here. And you want the money that goes to infrastructure here. And so this is not about who came from where. It's that people are here and we want to serve the people in whichever way possible, and we need to get the money, and the money is tied to people. So please, if you know of anybody who may feel uncomfortable in communicating with government, let them know that census thing is not a part of a problem. We need their numbers. Moving on, thank you. We are going to be deferring our treasurer's report. He's having a wonderful vacation, and so we want him to let him have his great vacation. we will get that treasure for you. We should have it by next week, so if you want it, you can call here and it will be provided to you. Otherwise, we will report on it next month when we report. Chief Captain Gomez, you have a report for us for police?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Colmar Manor, in the month of November, there were 71 calls for service. And out of the 71 calls for service, there were only 7 reports written, so that's pretty good. That's a good thing. The breakdown of the calls went 10 911 disconnects, 3 accidents, 2 added information, 1 breaking and entering in progress, a check on the welfare, 1 of those, 10 disorderly calls, 2 domestic calls, a found call, 1 fraud, 2 hold-up alarms, 1 lockout combined, 1 lost property, 1 loud music complaint, 1 miscellaneous police incident, 2 missing persons, 1 party complaint, 2 premise checks, property alarm call, 1 property damage, 1 call, residential alarm, 3 shoplifting. It was 2 calls for service, stolen vehicle 1, in which a report was generated from that. Suspicious occupied auto, it was 2 calls for service. Suspicious person, 3 calls for service. Theft from auto, 4 calls from service. Theft, 4 calls from service. Theft report, 1 call for service. Threat complaints, traffic complaints, trespassing complaints, it was only 1 call for service. And unknown trouble for the month of November. And the reports, I'll just go over and what the reports were written for. A lost property, theft report at the Orthodox Church, missing person, another missing person, a theft from auto, another theft from, actually it says from auto for Star Nails, another theft from auto, and a stolen vehicle. So majority of it was property crimes that, you know, we had reports for. So that's a good thing. It's no violent crimes in the area, so that's always good.
That's always a good thing.
That's always a good thing.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have any idea for the theft from auto, whether or not, how that theft happened? Is there any record on it?
Yeah, I don't have that information. I would have to look at it. But like I see, one is from IHOP. A lot of them seems to be from the parking lots of stores or TA fronts. So I see one for CVS, one at the Star Nails, and at IHOP. And majority of the times it's from individuals leaving items in their cars, and it's making themselves easy targets for the criminals coming past and being able to look in a car or leaving the doors unlocked. So that's usually how these crimes happen. So, but that's all I have. I haven't seen anything from, you know, in the neighborhoods of, you know, theft from auto. So that's always a good thing too.
Yes, that's definitely a good thing. And I do want to make a reminder. It's amazing to me. I mean, and I know people personally myself who had theft from auto and their doors unlocked. And it's the most easiest preventable crime and the most common of crimes that happen around here. So just lock that door. Okay, well, thank you so much. Is there a motion to accept the chief's report?
I have a question.
Yes. No, I can make a motion.
Oh, make a motion first?
Yes. I'll make that motion as stated.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes. Chief, I'm hoping and praying that the missing person was located.
Found, it actually is a found. That's what the found is. The one call on the calls for service total, the found,
Okay.
the missing person.
Okay, and then, just a clarification for my residents, if a home is reported with repeatedly having loud music complaint all during the, not just on the weekend, but all during the week, how many times does that particular home becomes like a nuisance for the, you know?
Well, it's not, I can't say in particular the amount of times, because there's no set of, we don't have a set time of how often you can call, but if however often you call, that person is a nuisance. So if you call more than one time for the same house, that to me, that's a nuisance because you have to continue to keep calling about the same house over and over again. So, and then if that's the case, then we will have the, decibel reader come out and see, what we can do and have, our code enforcement, cite them for violations of the, noise ordinance.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
And Mayor Bites. Aye, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. There we go.
Thank you.
All right, so we have no unfinished business, and since we've already done our public hearing and also the proclamation for Mr. Gray, we now have no new business, so we can move on to committee reports. Do we have a senior report?
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Blue, you're going to...
Yes, the senior club is looking for new members. Anyone 55 or year older, please come and join the senior club if you're interested. The senior club members meet on the first and the third Wednesday of each month here at the town hall about, I think it's 11:30 a.m. If you need transportation, you can please call the town hall at 301-277-4920. The membership dues is $10. It's for the whole year. Come on out and have some fun and meet some new friends. They play bingo, they go on shopping trips, and they go to luncheons. The next meeting is Wednesday, January the 8th. Thank you.
Thank you. Garden Club?
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone
Good
doing this
evening.
Great,
Thank
thank you.
nice sunshiny day?
It was nice today. It was.
Well, it was a warm, beautiful day, though.
It was warm. I don't know about sun.
It was.
But I'll take it.
Yeah. So the garden club is winterizing right now. We put the tots on the garden plots. Julianne and I have discussed that we're going to go out and there's some boards that we have in the west garden that we're going to remove. We're going to make a request to the town that we use the green truck to remove those boards and just take them to the dump ourselves. And we got a couple of residents that I've asked the guys, they volunteer to help. And that's about it. We don't have too much report on the eggnog in the garden.
I was
really
gonna
nice. We had fun. It was it's always a good, nice conversation to have when outside of the garden we just sat and chit chat what we're going to do for the following year. Plus other things that are going on in our lives, which is it was a really great event. I really look forward to that one day of the year that you just let your head off, and take your hair down, let your head off, and all that good stuff. But do we have anything else to report on? No, so that's about it. That's about it. Everything else, still looking to try to get that shed in the west garden, but everything else is good. So,
Okay.
but we will be renewing our plots March the 1st, so I will send out a notice to everybody. I'm sending a notice out to see if they want to join the garden. It's a lot of fun. It's therapeutic when you are working in the soil. It really is.
So, do you know if anybody's been working on the, what is that, that card where they have the measuring tape? You know, where they can come and certify your yard?
Baywise, that's
Oh,
part
the
of
yard,
green team.
the yard says.
The Baywise, part of the green
Baywise,
team.
yes.
Baywise, right.
Well,
Yeah.
I was told that after September, she doesn't really come out. She'll start
Till the
coming out
weather.
again during the spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
because I'm trying to get myself certified for that by the spring.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right, thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Green Team, do we have anything?
Yes, the Green Team, we had a joint meeting last month in Carter City. We've been having joint meetings with Carter City Green Team. We had two representatives to come out. One was a climate change. Nora gave a climate change presentation, and which was an eye-opener. I mean, I do know that we need to change some things in our home and also in our town, but just to see how the climate has changed. One of the discussions that we talked about, I think someone said Alaska had mosquitoes, and how a lot of things are geared towards money, but there's a lot of different little things that we can do in our homes to help with the climate change. We also had the mayor from Upper Marlboro to come in, and give us a cert presentation. A lot of our members from the Green Team from Carter City and Colmar Manor is interested in doing the certs. So that's something that she went over and talked about. This certs training is just not limited just to the Green Team. If someone's interested, I think, Doretha, you sent the schedule out?
I did.
Yeah, so if someone's interested, let me know and I can forward you the schedule. But it'd be good if we could at least have about 10 people from Colmar Manor. We have this big hall that definitely can be used as shelter. And just, she just went over how the search not only help with just disaster, but they help out with big events they have and different things. And so that was a good meeting. Our next Green Team meeting, which we will be hosting, Colmar Manor and Carter City, which will be January the 21st. Both Green Teams took off for the month of December to be with their family. Our Green Team meeting is open to everyone. It starts at 7 o'clock. It's here. And we try to end at 8:30, but frankly, sometimes the conversation just be so good. We don't end at that time. So everyone is welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Recreation report, Councilmember Bowden.
Holiday toy drive. If you donate a brand new boys or girls toy for ages 1 through 12, unwrapped, or either a cash donation, you'll receive a complimentary ticket for one class of your choice for Zumba, martial arts, or the boot camp, or Breeze's hand dance. And you can drop off your toys or money Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. or Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And the senior luncheon, did you mention the senior luncheon? Yes.
No, the senior luncheon is the 19th, 18th.
The 18th, right. Yeah. And if you have a senior at home, please bring them out. We're looking to really bring out more of the Colmar Manor seniors to get involved in the programs that the seniors do, because they do a lot of things on a regular basis. So bring them out. And then the holiday party is the 21st?
The 21st.
Okay.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So have some fun. Okay, PGCMA.
All right, so PGCMA, Prince George's County Municipal Association, met last Thursday in Greenbelt. So it was big because it was our legislative dinner. So this is the big hurrah. This is an event that allows our municipal towns and city officials to engage and meet with their county and state counterparts. So we come and we discuss issues affecting our local communities. And some of the topics that we talked about were, of course, the census and how important it is to get a complete count. And a main priority is the Kerwin Commission and funding for education for PG County and looking for accountability with that. So that's some priorities that we're looking for in 2020, legislative priorities going forward. And
All right.
yeah.
Thank you. Do you want to report on MML at the same time?
Oh, and MML, it was great to have our president there, Ryan Spiegel, who is our MML president, but also council member for the city of Gaithersburg. His whole concept for MML this year is Reimagine Tomorrow. And so we've adopted 2 legislative priorities for 2020. And one of them is to work toward really, truly, and permanently getting 100% restoration for our user highway revenues, so our HURs. So we did 85% in 2018, but we really want 100%. We want our money to get our roads together. So, oh, I felt like my dad doing that. Okay, excuse me. And the second one is to, of course, to continue to protect our local control over the aesthetics of the small cell. So when I say the small cell, you know, the whole 5G, everybody wants the new technology for their cell phones, but they want to come on our property and put put these towers in there. So we want to, as municipalities, to be able to have the right-of-way for that. So that's our MML goal.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to add my 2 cents on that one right now.
Yes.
So we're fighting like crazy. The FCC is pretty much giving the folks with the 5G free reign. And basically, just like Verizon and Sprint and whomever else all have their own towers that they use in order for us to transmit phones. So there's a whole bunch of different towers as opposed to single lines like with the telephone company. We have multiple landline companies, but only one wire. So with the small cells require that they are something like 100 or 200 feet apart from each other in order to work effectively. That's a lot. So when you take that lot and then you add on the fact that multiple companies can all have their own, you could wind up with 5 and 6 different free cells, small cells, on one post. In addition to that, the FFC is trying to restrict what we could be paid. So we get paid for cable to come into our town, and we get paid for fiber optics to come in and run lines through the right-of-way. And so they're trying to clip us on our ability to actually get paid for them being on our property while they make a profit and we get nothing from it, but they're using our right-of-way. So there's a lot of big deal, MML, I'm glad it's taken on, but this is not even just being taken on nationally, in National League of Cities, in terms of our rights. But in the meantime, we've passed aesthetics ordinance regulations, which requires them to come to us for the design of whatever it is they're going to build. And so if you've got 3 or 4 or 5 different ones up there, they're not going to meet our aesthetics requirements, and therefore that's our right now way of managing what happens going next is that regulation. However, I want to just say to anybody, they will approach people on their own properties. So if they can see that there's something highline on your property that they think it would be good for their sale, they might approach you directly. And if that's the case, I do want to remind you, we do have our aesthetics rules, which doesn't just apply to our right-of-way, but to the town in general. So it's a lot going around that. I know everybody wants everything to run super, super fast, whatever, but, you know, I remember when we had to get a letter, we had to go on a typewriter and type it up and then fold it up, put a stamp on it in order to send it somewhere. And now we can pick up a phone and go boom, 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 boom. It's kind of fast. Yep. So we need to stop somewhere, in some place, or at least take some compromise somewhere. But thank you for that information.
No, thank you.
Okay, we got Prince George's elected women, municipal women.
Yes, Prince George's elected municipal women, next meeting will be this Saturday coming up. It will be held in Mount Rainier Police Station. The time is like from 10 to noon. This is where all the, well, whoever's available at that time, elected officials within the Prince George's County, women, we get together, and a lot of times we have speakers there, or we have topics that, or issues that we may have going on in our town, and they also do, and they may look at it a totally different way, so it's a way of us helping each other out. I am on the board as an at-large member. I won't be attending the meeting on December because I have a prior engagement. So, but I will try to get the reports back to you all for next month. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much. Neighborhood Watch.
Oh, yes. Good evening. The Neighborhood Watch meetings are the third Thursdays of each month here at the Town Hall. Sometimes we have them out on the streets, the parks, or someone's home. But this meeting this month will be the 19th Thursday here at the Town Hall at 7 o'clock. You're welcome to bring a dish. It's the holiday, and we're going to have a little cheers here. Also, you're welcome to bring something. We have 3 boxes. We have one for coat drive, we have one for the toy drive, and we have one for the food for the needy in the community. So you're welcome to drop something in any of the boxes. And come on out. Our new chief will be here.
Yes, I will.
And Officer Williams will be here. And I'm going to even see if I can have the code enforcer here, because some people have questions they want to ask them also. I'm not promising that, I will see. Okay, just reach out and make someone happy. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Councilmember Blue, and I make an announcement. Inspector Richardson resigned today.
Oh.
And so as we spoke to him, it was he's like no bad feelings. He like doing the job and everything like that, whatnot. But it's economics, and we all have to respect that, and always, all the time. But I think we'll move on it pretty quickly. We actually learned a whole lot in bringing him in, because he'd never been a code enforcement officer before. So that way, we've learned a lot about putting a whole department together, and he's done a really, really good job. We have records and a process in terms of council members, myself, we can look, we can see if a house is being observed and what stage they're in and what the status of it is and whatnot. So if somebody calls in, and it's been helpful to me, somebody calls and goes, what's going on with such and such? You know, that house has been like da, 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 and nobody's doing anything. And then we can look up and we can say, well, this is the stage, yes, somebody's doing something, and this is the stage the house is in right now, and it's going to take this time to do that or whatever. Or it may be a vehicle on the street for a certain period of time. And so that kind of record keeping, which is on a cloud, that allows us to be able to view and see what's happening and whether or not, and even before bugging him about something, we can look and see if he's already taking care of something. We can check ahead of time. And then a process with vacant houses, installed a process with the, dealing with the mortgage companies that have houses that are vacant, not necessarily in a bad shape. But a lot has been put in a place that wasn't there before, and so I'm grateful for that, and hopefully we can bring in someone pretty quickly. Code enforcement is not as challenging as bringing police, but and it's an opportunity for somebody. So if you know anybody who likes going around and seeing people and talking to people on a regular basis, likes reading books and learning compliance and rules and laws and doing it, and they have a personality that meets people, please let us know. Training is available. It's a great job to get into because it doesn't require the experience. It only requires the aptitude to be able to do those type of things. And you learn, because no matter if you're in code enforcement and you work in Colmar Manor, it's not the same as being in code enforcement and working in Cottage City. So in his case, where he worked for both, he had to know both of our codes, and he has to know when to apply this one or that one. But you know, if you're just here, particularly if you want a part-time job, come on board. We'll be advertising this super fast, probably tomorrow, and try to get somebody in, because I liked having the work being done. And
Does Cottage City
done.
still want to work with us?
You know what? I'm telling you, literally, this happened like today. I don't have that
You find
time to know what was going, what we're doing.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, you're welcome. Any citizen comments?
Yeah. She's going to tell us. She's going to do code enforcement.
Good evening again. Doretha Epps at 4309 Lawrence. So the residents on my block has an issue with the speeding. We don't know what's going on, but around 9, 10 o'clock at night. But the summertime is always usually a little early, but I'm telling you, when they hit that corner of 43 and Lawrence to get down the other end, it's like 0 to 60. I'm serious. And we have children that always playing on the street at that time. So a couple of them came to me and asking me if I can talk to the mayor and council and the chief to see if there's something can be done about that. So that part. So when you said the pipes on WSSC, so they sent me something probably 2-3 years ago. I filled it out and sent it to them. But now they're sending me something else about my pipes. So I know I had my pipes covered from my house to the street, but then they sent something else has to do with the sewer. You know anything about that? Well, I didn't fill it out because I didn't feel comfortable, because I'm thinking, well, you already sent me one issue, so you're sending me something else, and I'm not sure what's going on with WSP.
So you're paying for the insurance for the first one you got?
Huh?
You paying for the insurance for the first set you got
Yeah,
to
I'm
cover
doing it
you?
from the street to the, the house to the street, the pipes. But then they said something else like 2 years
That
later.
they want you to pay
that
for?
But I didn't do it, and then they kept sending me notice, and all of a sudden they just stopped, because I refused to go through that again. And I want to announce that there's a bill hearing tomorrow at Prince George's College at the Fine Art Building from 7. I'm not sure what time, but this is the bills that the legislator has made that's going to affect the county as well as the state. So you might want to come out and listen to what they have to say and have your input in that too. Okay. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I want to back up what Dorita has said about the hearing tomorrow. So the hearing tomorrow is the bills the state is looking at in this session that starts in January that specifically affect Prince George's County. And I put a list in the newsletter as an attachment. And depending on how you got your email, you can find the attachment, but there's an attachment in there that has a list of what all the bills are, what the bill numbers are, if you want to look at it and see if there's something of interest in there for you. You can, the title is all we got on the spreadsheet, but if the title's interesting enough for you, you can go online and actually then pull down that bill and look at it and see, what it's all about. And if you make it up there, it's probably a good idea. It's probably about 25 bills in there? Yeah. But, okay, go ahead.
My name's Julianne Bethay, 4206 Monroe Street. Two things. The email, the e-newsletter, I like that. It's very easy to read and go down and select, and it's very informative, so.
Thank you.
Props to you. I don't know if they can do it so that it's just a continue, like you put the channel up and you see Town of Colmar Manor, if they could do it that way too, and instead of doing it as an individual.
On our station?
To each, put it on the station.
That's a good idea.
Format, and that may curtail some of the.
Some other people.
Trying to get it on an email to each individual household. The second thing is that last month I gave my input about Bates trash, and there's been some improvement, but they still need to do a few more things, particularly when they dump the trash and some of it spills on the street, they leave it. They need to sweep it up, one. Two, there's still an issue with the days and what to pick up. I see yard waste on Monday and Wednesday. People are putting them out different times of the week, and it's not being picked up. And I see people putting out on 42nd right now. There's a house that had, looks like they demolished the kitchen, and they put all the kitchen cabinets out on the curb. And they have been growing. Last week they had a set. Now this week they have the full panel of kitchen cabinets, and didn't get picked up last week. I doubt if it gets picked up tomorrow. So I don't know if there can be some other way or an additional way to facilitate the heavy trash pickup. In the past, Wednesday you put it out, it was done. You didn't have to call, you didn't have to get a schedule, you didn't have to make an appointment. So maybe some reconsiderations when you speak to Bates. That's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is one of the things I'm going to miss about the code enforcement officer right now, because that was his priority area since the last time we met, was about the bulk trash and putting in a process of him specifically going around on Thursdays and seeing what's out there. Right around and seeing what's out there on Thursday, because there should be nothing out there on Thursday, so that we can do a full investigation of, is it the person doesn't know what they were supposed to do? Is it that Bates didn't do what they were supposed to do? But this stuff is very tedious, but this is the only way we get to the answer, is taking them one at a time. We're a tiny town, so if we look at one issue at a time, after a while, we'll fix a whole bunch of them. So but we'll still figure out what's something to do. Maybe I'll have Public Works go around and do a list, and then we'll see what's follow up, what's out there, ward by ward. All right, well, thank you so much. I really want to say, other than the Christmas party, I hope that you'll come, but then we may not see you again until the new year. I want everybody to have a happy, wonderful Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever it is that what is your joy for the month, to enjoy that with your family and friends. And also want to do a little shout out. You guys have been seeing him for a really, really long time, and here in Colmar Manor, behind our cameras, but Mr. Chief Stone, who's back there, is retired from the Bladensburg Police Department.
He's hiding.
He's
working.
Yeah, you can hear me. He's retired from the Bladensburg Police Department, and so he's having they're having his retirement party tomorrow. We're happy to attend and see him. Tracy is a native Colmar Manor resident, and I think he worked there for 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think he did his retirement and so forth. So we want to say we wish you well and your retirement, but we'll see you behind the camera for sure, right? Yeah, all right. So that's my shout out there. Thank y'all all for coming out. Chief, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Superiors.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything. And
Can I
if
say
there's a
something?
motion.
Can I say something first?
Yeah.
Just want to say something before I forget. The In and Out is Mira Sadar baby, and I just want to say she did an excellent job with it. Now, residents, some people in town do not have emails. If you know your neighbors don't have emails, please let us know, because our job is to have it printed out and take it to them. So if you can let us know that, because that's how they can get information. Secondly, everybody know I won't be back after the election in 2020. But one thing I always look forward to coming to this meeting, I always could count on a young man, Mr. Muchler, always sitting out there. And we just want to say, the mayor and council, we miss you, Mr. Muchler. He was always here, sitting out in the audience. Sometimes be one person. Whereas Mr. Muchler and Connie, we always can count on those two there. So within my time, that came out to the meeting. So I think he's having a birthday coming up soon. So we just want to say,
And they're both doing well.
Yeah, they both do. We're going to say we miss both of you all. I miss seeing you.
Yes, we
That's
miss you, Mr. Muchler. But I always remember from the very beginning of starting, it was Ms. Muchler. The reason why I report out what happened in the work session, that came from Ms. Muchler, when she's like, we never know what y'all do back there. And so I thank her for actually giving me that. I also want to thank Doug, who's in the audience right now, because dog walkers, let me tell you what you can do for us. You guys see more than anything else around here in walking your dog. And so Doug's been snapping pictures, because, all of us have these things, and they take pictures, you can take picture right where you are, whatever. And it's so helpful to be able to gather that information, because we can turn that immediately into a work order and start working on getting something done. So I thank you for that. Thank you. And I encourage everybody out there, don't just be disgusted. Snap a picture, send it in, and then we'll start working on it. And just to remind everybody, the Public Works all has tracking numbers. So if you've called in something, get your tracking number, so that it enables us to always follow up, find out what's happening with it, and then we can get back and make sure that things are getting done that need to get done. So those are my last words. Thank you. And is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion stated.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's 8:50, is that right? 8:50, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Teresa.